What's up, everybody? Welcome to PyWest 3 Raw TV. So, tonight I want to talk about something that I think is important to talk about. But let's just get into brass tacks and start rolling with it. So this is kind of a follow-up video to the Nick Trigili and Tony Huge video that should have already gone up. So hopefully you guys have seen that one. In which Tony Huge basically put out a new movie with Generation Iron. And has made it seem like steroids are very safe and it's a fun thing to do, etc., stuff like that. Nick Trigili intervened and kind of explained his point about how he doesn't feel that way, and I put up my video, and it is what it is. But this is the one thing I've noticed, and this is fucking sad. It's a sad state of affairs because it's not even bodybuilding anymore. There has become a kind of cult-like trend. I guess you could be. It's a lifestyle. It is a drug-using, drug-abusing, black market lifestyle. It's not even about bodybuilding anymore. The things that like Tony and those guys do, it's not even about becoming better human through performance and stuff, because they're using things that don't really increase performance, right? They're using things like, Tony wanted to do that experiment with Nubane, and Coach Trevor warned him, and I warned him, like, do not fuck with Nubane. That doesn't help the physique anyway. Doesn't help you become a better person. Doesn't help you progress. It's just another drug. And Tony's very into drugs in general. He's into psychedelics, mushrooms, fucking weed. You name it, and he's into taking it. Nubane, which is a narcotic. I'm sure he pops Vicodins. I mean, I don't personally, but I'm sure if he's willing to do Nubane, he's not scared of Vicodins or Oxycontin, right? And he's always in Thailand experimenting with his different drugs and shit. And it really is a drug-abusing lifestyle. A drug-addicted, drug-abusing lifestyle. And it makes it look like, especially from Tony's point of view, I'm traveling to all these beautiful countries, and I have this free life, and I can do this, I can do, look at all the steroids I'm injecting. Hey, I'm doing interviews on fucking mushrooms. And basically, it's a very, very dangerous lifestyle, I'll be honest with you. Tony's out there doing things that, myself coming from that background, the addiction background with heroin, Nubane, all these other drugs, party drugs like ecstasy and these things get out of control very quickly. And I had a lot of friends pass away from the recreational drug thing. And I don't think it's not only the right message, but I honestly think at this point in time, my personal opinion is that Tony Huge actually has a drug problem. He has a drug dependency problem. And I'm not talking, the psychedelics and all that shit. I do believe in my heart of hearts 100% that Tony is 100% addicted to steroids physiologically and psychologically. There's no doubt in my mind. If you told Tony today that he can no longer take another steroid in his entire life, I don't believe he'd be able to do that. I believe he would sneak them. And I believe that sneaking them makes it an issue. It makes it a problem. I don't believe that Tony could stop doing steroids right now. I don't believe Tony could stop doing the drugs right now. And again, it's one of these things where people are like, well, Jerry's not bothering anybody. This is true. He's not bothering anybody. He's doing it to himself. However, it's not about what you do to yourself. I believe anybody has the right to do anything. If Tony wants to take every drug under the sun, that's totally fine. When you start promoting it as this awesome lifestyle, because you're showing just the good parts, right? Tony's not showing you necessarily the part where he has a eating disorder and can't control himself during a diet. So he has to do crazy things that harms his body, which he'll say no, but Tony literally has no clue the damage he's actually doing to his body long term. He doesn't even understand it. Nor do I think he even cares at this point, to be totally honest with you. He does a little bit of blood work every now and then and says, I'm fine. Listen, blood work it doesn't even begin to crack the egg of the shit that happens to you. Like, blood work can be completely fine and you'd be fucking dying of cancer. Like, you have no clue. Like, blood work does not mean shit other than there's something radically wrong right now and those markers are showing this. And a lot of times blood work shows that stuff that doesn't mean anything, right? But other times it shows nothing at all. And the person is really fucking sick. How many times have you heard of a person go to doctor after doctor after doctor? They're running test after test after test, and obviously they're fucked up and there's something wrong with them. But until they get to this certain specialist that knows what they're looking at, they didn't even know anything was wrong with them. All the other doctors with the blood work is fine, this is fine, that test's fine, all these other tests are fine until you go to this specific specialist and they find out what's wrong with you and you're like, fuck, this is life altering, right? That's what Tony's doing. He's going to these weird fucking doctors and getting blood work done and weird shit, and we have no idea what the fuck. He doesn't know what the fuck's really going on with his life or in his body. He doesn't know. But now what he's doing is out there promoting it like all these young guys should be into this. And it's like, well, if that's what you want to do, it's fine. But at least be responsible to say, hey, here's the deal. I'm getting away with this right now. Right now I'm fine, right? Tony can't point the finger at Rich Piana and say he did it wrong and I'm doing it right. Tony can't point the finger at people like Anthony DeRezzo or Curtis Leafler or any of the other guys that have died from taking this stuff and then be like, I'm fine. Tony can't point the finger and say, well, these guys have bad sources of black market stuff and I only have pharmaceutical stuff. Like, Tony will use whatever and anytime he gets it. He doesn't care. Random stuff, doesn't matter. Might be clean, might not. I mean, I've seen him do a fucking shot outside behind a building with a syringe. It's like the most unsterile environment you can get, and he's doing that, and he's promoting that. That's okay, too. So I just kind of step back, and I'm like, I like Tony. He's a good guy. He's a fun guy. He's fun to be around. He's fun to hang around. I have good conversations with him and stuff, but the lifestyle he lives is dangerous, and so far, I guarantee you right now, if you talk to him on your own, he would tell you some shit that's gone on. Maybe not health complications, but the people that he interacts with, people he's come in contact with through this lifestyle, that wouldn't just possibly hurt you, but might fucking kill you over something. Like, they're not even explaining that part. People don't even realize that to get these illegal drugs that he's talking about, you have to deal with shady characters. Shady characters that don't care about you. They care about the money and power that they're making. Therefore, they wouldn't think twice about bumping you off. Like, that comes with that bodybuilding lifestyle. It's not even a bodybuilding lifestyle. Like, what Tony's doing is not a bodybuilding lifestyle. It's a drug addict lifestyle. Being addicted to drugs, constantly having to have drugs all the time because you can't go off them is a drug-addicted lifestyle. You are an addict, whether you believe it or not. Now, not everybody's going to take a steroid and become addicted, but I honestly believe in my heart of hearts, Tony, if you see this, you have a problem at this point. Take that from somebody who has had a huge fucking problem. I had a problem with heroin, opiates. I had a problem with alcohol. I had a problem with pretty much any substance that would impair me mentally. I had a problem with steroids. I couldn't get off the fucking steroids because I identified with being the big Jerry, right? Right now I'm fucking 200 pounds. I could give a fuck less. Like, you don't even understand that. Like, I would love to see Tony come off for a year, use no HCG, none of that stuff, and see his mental well-being within 6 months and then the year after that and see where he was at and see if he didn't relapse during that. I honestly believe in my heart of hearts if Tony went off drugs, he would relapse. There's no doubt in my fucking mind with the steroids. There's no doubt in my fucking mind. He can't live without him. That's his lifestyle. And from a guy that seemingly had a good career, had good people around him and stuff, he literally left that all behind to go do this fucking crazy lifestyle, which is almost like a midlife crisis or acting like an 18-year-old that doesn't really know what the fuck they're doing. Like, Tony's an adult. He should know better with the things he's doing. He should want more for the youth than to follow in his footsteps, because I'm telling you right now, this does not end well. Tony is not Superman. He's not somebody that's got it figured out. He's doing experiments that he has no clue what the fuck he's doing with his body. And they're not experiments. They're literally not experiments. They're just him fucking around with drugs dangerously. Okay, they're not in a controlled setting. He's not a doctor. They're not with scientists. It's him and his crew, which they're a bunch of bodybuilders, which there's nothing wrong with that. But they're not experts. They're not scientists. They don't. I've heard them talk about things. They understand things to a certain point, but the problem is they're delving into areas that this stuff literally doesn't have any data whatsoever to show what is happening to them while they're doing what they're doing with these amounts, combining these drugs. There hasn't been any long-term studies combining bodybuilding drugs in stacks ever. And I mean, I did the video, I don't know if it should be up already, about the bodies of the guys that have died. Liver problems, fucking kidney problems, heart attacks. Tony has had to do things diuretic-wise to get himself back on track. Things with DNP, which is super hard on the kidneys and liver. Like, I'm sitting back going, fuck, man. Like, this is not even like, he's not even going to turn pro. He wouldn't even do well in a national show. So it's not about him reaching the pinnacle of where he wants to be in a sport that he's been chasing for fucking 20 years. It's about him going out there and fucking being able to take his addiction and present it like it's an awesome lifestyle. Could you imagine, like, what I'm watching is a steroid version of the show Intervention? That's what I'm watching. I'm looking at things as it's going on, and I'm like, fuck. I like Tony. That's why I'm making this video. I have a problem with what he's doing because I like him, and I don't want to see him hurt himself. Okay? I like Trevor. I like Trevor a lot. But Trevor stands by and watches this, and I don't think Trevor's happy about half the shit that happens either. I talked to him about the Newbane thing, and he was like, I tried to tell him, but he doesn't listen. Like, all I can do is say what I can say. And, like, his friends around him will tell him, like, don't do this. This is dangerous. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Like, it's a very reckless lifestyle because you're in it emotionally. You're addicted. You're in the addiction itself. You're making choices based on your addiction and what your addiction wants and not really what's best for you. That's what an addiction is. And at this point, it's like, not only has it been his personal addiction, but it's in the public eye and social media. And now they're making movies about it. And they're encouraging it. In Generation Iron, they go, oh, just reporting. You're not just reporting. You're reporting something that is glorifying an addicted lifestyle. Somebody who's addicted to drugs and who has a real fucking problem. And now that's going to fucking roll over into the youth. People always talk about wanting to save the youth, the youth, the youth, the kids, the kids. Would you make a documentary saying how great the fucking life on Oxycontin is? Because a lot of people take Oxycontin, they're addicted to it, think it's the greatest lifestyle ever. I mean, when you do heroin, granted the things that come along with heroin, when you're first involved in it, it's a great lifestyle. You think it's fucking awesome. You have no pain, you have no worries, you have no nothing. It's cheap, right? You're hanging out with your friends, you're partying, you're doing things. It's a great lifestyle until it's not. And there's going to come a point where this lifestyle is great for Tony until it's not. And when it's not, that's when I question, does he have the strength, the willpower, and the inner juju to get himself out of it? To pull himself out and say, all right, I'm not Tony Huge. I'm Anthony, I don't even know what his last name is. Anthony so-and-so. I'm not Dr. Tony Huge. I'm not a doctor. I'm not fucking a bodybuilder, right? I did a couple shows. I'm just Anthony so-and-so. Does he have that in him to be that? Because this bodybuilding shit ends one way or another. Either it ends because you're old and your body can't take it, or it ends by you fucking dying because you did something fucking stupid. But it ends. And that identity as being that guy ends. Can you handle that? That's the next step. And, you know, all the fortune and the fame because, like, oh, somebody should speak out. Somebody should speak out. What the fuck? Half of these people in the gym that are fucking with steroids shouldn't be anywhere near steroids. Some of them shouldn't even be in the gym alone. They should be with people trying to teach them how to train because they're going to hurt themselves on the fucking just training. But it's really about what Tony promotes, steroids first, everything else after. Steroids, partying, drugs first, everything else after. Travel the world, go to these fucking crazy places, do these crazy things. Health and fitness, later. Do all this shit because he has the money to do it. Party, drugs, fucking doing all that shit, work later. Everything is like pushed off to the side and it's party, drugs, which looks good to the motherfuckers out there that are like, well, my life sucks. I want to party and take drugs and fucking travel the world. And it's like, you didn't see the Tony Huge, working all the fucking time he did to save up all that money and fucking, he's wealthy to begin with and takes all these fucking trips. The worst thing for a drug addict is money and wealth because it only ends one way. With fucking death. You push the envelope, you push the envelope, push the envelope, you keep thinking you keep cheating death, and eventually, if you don't run out of money, you run out of fucking life. And that's just how it works. And I hope I'm going to be fucking wrong. I hope 100% that I'm wrong and that Tony will one day just kind of wrap his head around the fact that, like, look, I'm probably damaging myself. I took my physique as far as I can go. Like, I'm not going to go any further than this. Like, it's all there is to it. And what's the point? You know what I mean? Why the fuck am I going to do that? And I hope that he fucking says, okay, I did all these experiments. Here's the information from it. This is what I saw. But you know what, guys? Like, maybe some of you shouldn't be fucking doing this, right? I don't think Tony himself would sit down and say, no, it's good for everybody to do. Give those steroids to a 3-year-old. You know what I mean? Give those steroids for a fucking 10-year-old. Give those steroids for the 13-year-old. Give those steroids to a fucking 15-year-old because that's what's happening. It's trickling down. It used to be just guys in the gym. Now it's trickling down to fucking 15 and 16-year-olds in school that are trying to get their hands on pro hormones and SARMs because they want to be like they're on steroids and they think this shit's cool because you're making a cool lifestyle about it. It's not very cool when that fucking kid in high school pops those pro hormones, grows a pair of bitch tits, and he can't get a fucking date, and he's lactating through his fucking shirt, right? His dick won't work anymore because he fucking took something that fucked up his HPTA. Like, that shit's not the stuff that fucking you're hearing about. You're hearing about Tony loaded on drugs and taking another drug for every side effect that he has that keeps his body functioning, but it's not functioning properly. He has to take something to negate this and take something to negate that, and this stacks with this. Like, that's not a healthy lifestyle. That's not a fun lifestyle. That's a, hey, I'm okay today because I'm chock full of drugs. But if Tony can't get one of those drugs, what happens? That side effect kicks up, and that throws a whole other fucking spin on what's going on. He's just able to get them right now. So be aware, guys. This is a dangerous lifestyle. I don't think he's promoting a good thing. That's my personal opinion. I've always been interested in what he does. I find it entertaining, but I find it entertaining because he's the one doing it and fucking himself up, and it's not me. That's why it's entertaining. So if you guys find it entertaining, remember, it's entertaining because he's the one doing it. When you start doing it and you start really seeing the results and the shit that fucking happens negatively from it, sometimes it's too late. And trust me, you do not want to be in that spot. I know. BossTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight BossTraining.com is the blog. It's the fucking too much, too soon, too late bicep, and we are out.